Welcome. You have arrived to the Hefty Girls podcast.
Hello, gals, and welcome back to another episode of Hefty Gals. If you're an audio listener, you might, if you're sensing just an emptiness, a void, a blankness, that's because I'm missing my counterpart, Emma Arletta LLC. So I'm being a really brave girl and I'm doing a solo episode. Yes, she is jet set in Mexico right now on a brand trip because that woman is the busiest woman that I know. And she's booked in busy. So hopefully next week she will be back at it. I'll be back on my couch and the sisterhood will be back together once again. I'm actually a little bit nervous for this episode because I've never done a long form talking video up to an hour. So we're going to see how this goes, but we're in this together. I feel like Emma Chamberlain right now, like laid up in my bed with my microphone. I'm like, yep, Gabi, coffee coming soon to the Century City Mall. But anyway, if you are a visual watcher right now on YouTube, you can see my amazing shirt that says that is from Delia's. If you remember, that's a very deep cut. I saved up all of my money. This was probably a purchase in middle school. And it reads, "The Future Mrs. Bieber," because today, if you don't know, is Justin Bieber's birthday, his 31st birthday, the day that we're recording. But I don't think that this is coming out for a couple more days. But I had to celebrate for all of my Beliebers out there. I also put on Pure Seduction perfume, which is a Victoria's Secret staple scent. I'm just really living my middle school fantasy realness right now, if we're being honest. And this is what I want to know. Were you guys a love spell girl or were you a pure seduction girl? Because for me in my house, we were pure seduction all the way. And when my mom would be like, "Okay, girls, Emma and Gabi, you need to tell Grandma what you want for Christmas. What do you want on your gift list?" And I was like, like I'm gonna have to say the words pure seduction to my grandma, my old 80-year-old frail little grandma. She's gonna have to walk into Victoria's Secret and buy her 12-year-old granddaughter a perfume called Pure Seduction among the lingerie selection. I'm like, "Can I write it down and then like you send it to her?" She's like, "No, you need to call Grandma and tell her what you want." I'm like, "God, please don't make me do it." I'm like, Emma, can you call in, tell Grandma Joe what we want? But yes, I'm happy to be back on the mic solo. And if you don't recognize the background, it's because I'm in my bedroom and it's really feeling very adult like now that I've lived in this apartment for probably 2 years at this point. And I just now hung a picture up of my bed. So that's where we're at. But now I feel like a real adult. I got 2 bedside tables, 2 lamps, these beautiful mature pillows. I'm like, oh, it's true. I'm a woman and I am turning 26 this year. So there's that. In a month, I will be kicked off my mom's insurance. So please keep me in your thoughts and in your prayers also. I'm trying to think of what happened this week in pop culture or media, but honestly, I really haven't been spending much screen time because I've been watching TV again, unfortunately. I feel like TV is like just now coming back to regular like new shows and new episodes and new seasons coming out because of the writer's strike. And unfortunately, I did give in to peer pressure and listen to my friends, and I did start Paradise. And the thing is, when I start a show, like, it's all consuming. There's no like, oh, I'll just watch one episode and then go to bed. No, I'm watching like 5 like episodes back to back that are an hour long. Like, I have no self-control when it comes to TV. So I pick my shows very, very, I'm very specific with the shows that I will watch because I'm like, okay, is it worth giving up 3 days of my life, of my productivity? Is it worth it? And you know what? This week I decided it was worth it. I was like, fuck it. What else is there to do? Macy's out of town. Emma's out of town. I'm like, guys, please come back. People were inviting me to go out this weekend. I'm like, sorry, my jester's not here. I can't come. My sister's not here. I can't do it. And this is what made me realize, like, if Emma moves to Dallas, like she keeps teasing, I'm like, God, I will have to go too because I can't do anything by myself. And I think I realized that. I really like my alone time and I love to live alone and be alone. But when it comes to social situations, I'm like, or anything like work related, I'm like, well, and you see, like, if I don't get a +1, I'm not going type of vibe. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's a youngest sibling or a youngest child thing or if that's just a me thing. I'm like, and so like at what age am I going to grow out of my social anxiety? Like, you guys say that my frontal lobe is finally developed at the age of 25, but why do I still want to dye my hair pink and get an eyebrow piercing before Coachella? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's allegedly fully developed, but maybe in my 26th year, we'll make some more moves towards that, towards doing things alone and maybe going on dates, maybe going to events by myself. But that actually makes me like nauseous just thinking about. So that's me in my week. And also, if things couldn't get any worse for me, because I am getting kicked off my mom's insurance in a month. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was recording a video of like my lunch today. And guess what popped up on my screen? The little notification that says iPhone storage full. I'm like, oh. And I thought things couldn't get any worse. And alas, they did. So that's been on my list of things to do today is to go through my phone. I'm like, you would think in the year of 2025 that somebody would have found out a way to have like unlimited storage. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, and how do phones still die? Like, why can't we have like an unlimited battery? And why can't I have unlimited storage? Ugh, it pisses me off. And all of my content creator friends, their solution to that is they just buy another phone and they just have like a content phone. But I refuse to do that. For some reason, that just seems, what's the word I'm looking for? It seems excessive and it seems a little bit frivolous. But then I have to think back and be like, okay, well, this is my job and this is a stream of income. And maybe I should like lock in a little bit more. You know what I mean? And I feel like I have a lot of subconscious thoughts that are similar to that around our job, influencing, content creation, that sort of thing, where I'm like, I kind of like downplay it in my head. I'm like, oh, yeah, influencer or like whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to like buy the equipment that I need because I'm like, I don't need a light. Like, that just seems like so like dramatic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't need a fucking ring light. Like, but then at the end of the day, I'm like, well, Gabi, I'm like, oh, I don't need a new camera. That seems so stupid. I can just record on my iPhone. But then it's times like these when my iPhone storage fills up that I'm like, okay, well, and maybe it's time to invest in my future and in my career. You know what I'm saying? Emma doesn't have this section of the podcast where you talk about like media that you're watching and listening to. But since this is a solo episode, I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to take the media section as informing you guys what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, and what I'm thinking about. So the show that I did start, I think I just said this, is Paradise. And then other people have been talking about Yellow Jackets. So I think I'm just going to knock out the 2 shows that I want to watch back to back. So I'm going to finish Paradise and then I'm going to start Yellow Jackets. And the podcast that I've been addicted to recently is Miss Gabi. I think her last name is Whitney or Wendy, something along the lines of that. But I'm just now finding out about her. But apparently she has like a crazy digital footprint. Like she's been on the internet for a while, or she was on The Bachelor or something. And now she's on a TV show called Traders. So I think I like have like one new person a year that I discover and like fixate on, and then go and like watch every single piece of footage that they're in and learn every single thing about them. And I fear that Gabi Whitney is my new fixation of the year. So I do want to start Traders. Maybe that will be in between Yellow Jackets and Paradise. Another podcast. This is kind of like, there's a couple podcasts that I listen to that are very niche, and it's kind of like embarrassing because I'm like, I don't even like it that much to like put other people on, and I don't want to really admit that I listen to them, but I do listen to every single episode. And that would be the Theo Vaughn podcast, and then also My Favorite Murder. I love true crime, and the older that I get, I'm like, maybe I should reel it back a little bit with the amount of true crime that I watch and consume, because I'm like, that has to do something subconsciously to your brain that I'm not really aware of. But I'm not really like a scaredy cat the way that Emma is. Like, I'm not like scared all the time, which I feel like if it was like affecting me in that way, where I was like paranoid and scared all the time, then I would reel it back in. But I'm like, but I'm fine. So I feel like it makes you kind of a little bit more aware of your surroundings and of people. Oh my God. Another show that I watched. This is what actually kickstarted the TV watching, is because on my TikTok feed, I was getting like, you know how they do like the different parts of, like they'll literally like post a whole movie on TikTok and split it up into like 47 parts. So I was watching the Ruby Franke documentary on TikTok, and I was literally at part like 15, and I'm like, why don't I just fucking like turn it on Hulu, and why am I watching this in 37 parts? So I watched that, and I remember when this story broke that like this family that she had gotten arrested, I remember thinking like, oh my God, like this is so like dramatic. I was kind of thinking like, oh, people like are blowing things way out of proportion. Like I knew that I had recognized some of her, like her face from some videos that I had seen. I'm like, she's just like a super strict parent. Like, I think people are just being dramatic. Like, she's going to be in jail for like one night and then everything's going to be like dropped and like, oh. After I saw that documentary, I'm like, oh, and I hope she rots in hell. Like, I didn't realize the extent of what was going on, but it truly blew my mind. I'm like, oh. I feel guilty for even thinking those thoughts of like, oh, people are dramatic. But this is 2 things that I have to say about this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this mom in, I want to say Utah because they were Mormon. She had this like family vlogging channel, and they're like YouTubers, and her page was like all about like raising 6 kids and whatever, and Mormon teachings, and like how to discipline your kids and yada yada yada. It got out of hand, and she met this like therapist who pretty much like started a cult and like brainwashed this woman, and like they started doing like extreme stuff to their kids, and like literally it was just like abuse at the end of the day is what it was. Like, I don't want to get into any details because it was a little bit like traumatic, but after I saw the footage of one of the little boys ended up like escaping the house and going to ring on a doorbell, and the footage of that little boy, I was like, oh, and Ruby Franke will rot in hell. And that's all I have to say about that. Let me think of what else happened this week. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to tell this story, but you know what? Why the hell not? So, recently I got a package, like PR package from this brand called Silo. And what it is pretty, I don't know. Like, I'm like, wait, am I allowed to talk about this? I don't know. But I got this PR package, and it's of these like bags of gummies, and it's microdoses of mushrooms, pretty much, which sounds a little bit woo-woo crazy, like a little bit hippie crazy. But if you live in Los Angeles, like I feel like living in Los Angeles is just a different culture. Like everybody is smoking weed everywhere. There's like a lot of people do like weed and mushrooms instead of drinking. Like I feel like this really isn't a big drinking city as opposed to Kansas City where I'm from. I'm like everybody's out drinking on the weekends. But if you said that you were like taking mushrooms, they'd be like, oh my God, you're a fucking drug addict. But I got this package of mushrooms pretty much, but they're gummies and it's like microdose form. So I was like, oh my God, I've taken a microdose before and it was like chill. Like I really didn't feel anything. Like I think that I could take 2 of these because I'm like, I have technically taken 2 before because my friend has this exact same brand. And I'm like, I've taken 2 before. But then I realized I had taken 2, but in like a day span. So like I had taken 1 and then a couple hours later, I took a second because whatever, I couldn't feel it. And I'm like, oh, I've taken 2 before. Like this is going to be fine and it's going to be great. So I'm like, oh, I really want to go on a hike. This will just make me in a good mood. I'll do this instead of drinking coffee this morning. So I take 2 of them at once. I'm driving to my hike and like all of the sudden, the trees are kind of like looking a little funky, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh God, no. Oh fuck. Literally immediately like panic, like gets like clothed over my body. I'm like, oh no. Because one thing I know about myself is me and like weed don't mix anymore. Like I really haven't smoked weed since college because it like just the second that I feel like a substance in my body, it immediately like it's just panic because I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel like this. Like I want to be, I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like to be out of control or feeling like out of control. So immediately I'm like, fuck, why did I take 2? And then I realized I'm like, oh my God, the last time I took it, I didn't take them both at once. Stupid fucking girl. So I'm like, well, in my brain, I'm like, okay, the best thing to do in this situation is to go on this hike and pretty much like sweat it out. Like in my brain, I'm like, okay, if I work out, it's going to like get out of my system faster. So I'm like, whatever, I keep driving. And this experience really made me realize and made me grateful for my brain chemistry, my natural, sober brain chemistry. I'm like, why would I even fuck with that? I really, not to like be a pick me show right now, but like something about me and Emma's brain chemistry, we really got like the best of the genetics from our parents. Like, I feel like we are both pretty like mentally stable people and we wake up in a good mood. Like neither of us have like depression. Emma might have anxiety. We know that because she's a little scaredy cat. But for the most part, like we're pretty like mentally stable, I would say. Like neither of us are on like any like SSRIs or medication or anything. And it really made me realize, I'm like, I need to stop trying to fuck with my brain chemistry, because my like fear, which I know that this is irrational, but my fear is like I'm going to take like, that's why I don't do like edibles or anything anymore. Because I'm like, I'm scared that I'm going to take something and it's going to mess with my brain chemistry and it's going to be stuck that way. So I'm like, okay, only taking one microdose at a time. Thank you, Mom, if you're listening to this. I'm sorry, and just block out that last 20 minutes of that story. Sorry, girl. But yeah, so that was my kind of crazy experience of the week. I also had like the most random side quests this week. I somehow ended up at Heidi D'Amelio's house, which like I feel like that's kind of weird to say, but I'm like, this is a very niche group of people that actually are listening to this podcast, and like I trust you guys. And I feel not judged in this little community that we have here on the Hefty Gals channel. Yes, it's true. But randomly, you guys, I don't know if Avery's been on the podcast yet, but we have a best friend, Avery, who she is from Louisiana, and we used to live at the same apartment complex. But pretty much, she met the D'Amelio's mother, Heidi, at a L'Oreal event or some event, and they kind of like bonded over the fact that they're both from Louisiana. And she was like, I know this is so weird, and like I don't want to be weird, but like, do you want to come to my Mardi Gras party tomorrow? And Avery invites me, and honestly, like it was like such a wholesome, like just sweet time at Miss Heidi D'Amelio's house. I'm like, and what the hell am I doing here? Like family portraits of like Dixie and Charlie and both the parents. I'm like, what am I doing here? This feels wrong. But I really was not cultured in the Louisiana-ness of it all. Like I honestly didn't even know what Mardi Gras was celebrating, so I had to have a little session with the Louisianans, and they caught me up to speed. So let me catch you guys up to speed if you don't know what Mardi Gras is, or if I'm literally just fucking stupid, like let me know. But apparently in the Catholic Church, there's like Lent for before Easter, like the 40 days before Easter, you're supposed to like give something up. It's not like a fast, but kind of like, oh wait, I saw this meme, and it was like, I wonder if Jesus is low-key mad that 75 hard is trending when they've been trying to push 40 hard for thousands of years. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But anyway, so you're supposed to give up something for Lent, and then the Tuesday before Lent starts, it's called Fat Tuesday. So then Mardi Gras is like the party of like going all out, drinking and being crazy before Lent starts, pretty much. It's like the last hurrah before Lent. And I'm like, how did I never know this? So I'm like, I think like literally just Louisiana and like maybe Mississippi celebrates Mardi Gras. But I was like, wait, this is actually so fun. And she was like, yeah, we would get school off like the whole week that Mardi Gras was. She's like, I didn't know that other states didn't do that. I'm like, that's so insane. And there was like 3 people from Louisiana there. And they were talking like all about like, I don't know, the fucking swamps and the crawdad fishing. And she was like, and when I was little, like my grandma and grandpa we would like be swimming like in the swamps. And they're like, oh, the gators are more scared of you than you are of them. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? They're literally swimming with the alligators. I'm like, oh, right. And that's right. But yeah, so that was my side quest of the week. And I learned some, like, there's like certain dances that they do in Louisiana. I'm like, this is really like a whole different country. Like, this is crazy. I'm like, next year I want to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Yeah. Well, I'm like, wait, shit, this is kind of hard not having somebody else to bounce ideas off of. I'm like, well, like, what else do you guys want to talk about? Wait, let me see what time I'm at. the way I don't even like know how to read this fucking screen. I don't even see time anywhere. Right. Wait, let me see. Oh my God, I overheard my mom and one of her best friends, Ginger, talking about the whole Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation, which I'm like, I didn't even realize like that whole thing was like still going on. But literally every time my mom's sitting next to me, she's playing her Instagram reels like literally as loud as they can go. And it's like news reports about Justin Baldoni and the fucking Blake Lively case. I'm like, we're still talking about that? And it's like so loud. I'm like, Mom, please, can you please turn that down? But I overheard her and her friend talking about it. And she literally, this is verbatim what she said. She goes, oh, it's just such a shame. Blake Lively is so pretty. Like, right. I'm like, that was her genuine like take on the whole thing. Such a shame. Blake Lively is just so pretty. I'm like, well, yeah. Okay, guys, this actually might have to be a shorter episode because I don't know what the fuck else to say. Like, what do you want from me? I'm the youngest sibling. Like, I'm not used to having to carry anything on my own. I'm used to like just kind of listening to what everybody else is saying and adding in when I want to add in. Like, fuck. Hard. Emma, how do you do this? But quickly, I do have something for what makes me sick to my stomach, fam, for this week. If you're a new listener and this is your first episode listening to, I'm so sorry. Like, I really apologize. Because yeah, self-explanatory. But this is a section where me and Emma, but Emma's not here today, say things that make us sick to our stomach. And what we mean by that is like just things that are like, oh, it just doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're going for here. Something that doesn't sit right with me and that makes me sick to my fucking stomach, fam, is fake freckles that are drawn on in a terrible way. The fake freckles, like I love a fake freckle look. Okay, don't get me wrong. But the fake freckles that are literally perfect little polka dot circles and it literally just looks like polka dots on your face. I'm like, guys. And maybe it's because I am a person who has natural freckles that I feel a little bit more critical of them in the way that they're applied. I'm like, guys, freckles don't happen in perfect, like a perfect grid formation in perfect circles. I'm like, have you never watched a tutorial? Like you're supposed to like tap them in. They're different shades. They're different little shapes. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I don't know why it pisses me off so bad. I'm like, I want to like slide up and be like, girl, like, and send like a fake freckle tutorial. I'm like, stop that. Put down the eyebrow pencil. Please, God. I really think that's what it is. I think it's because I have natural freckles. I'm like, well, if you're going to do it right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what makes me sick to my stomach. What also makes me sick to my stomach is that in the year 2025, you can't have unlimited storage on your phone. It's bullshit. It's bullshit and it's a scam. I know that they have the cure to cancer out there, and I know that they have a way to have unlimited storage on your phone, and they're just not giving it up. Pisses me off. Also, poll in the comments, sound off in the comments if I should dye my hair pink and get eyebrow piercing. And if you're gonna say no, then like don't even like, comment, okay? And like don't even vote, because I don't. Well, guys, this is gonna be a hella short episode, but really, I'm not a woman of many words, contrary to popular belief. So I've run out of things to say. I have nothing more to say. And the thing is about me, if I have nothing more to say, I'm not gonna fake it and make up some bullshit. You know what I mean? I just am simply have no more thoughts to give to you girls. But I love you so much. And Emma should be back sooner rather than later. And I'm sure she'll give us a full synopsis of her trip to Mexico without me, which is so rude because they didn't give her a +1. But alas, whatever. I'll get the next one. That's what I'm telling myself. Also, Coachella's coming up, and also Aries season is coming up, which is my birthday. So life is worth living again. Happy birthday, Justin Bieber. Pink hair probably coming soon. Frontal lobe not developed fully. Insurance. Ugh. I'm going to have to file for that soon. I don't even know what that means. And that's all. That's all I really have for you guys. But things are looking up because around the corner it's going to be spring and everybody's going to be happier and the sun will shine soon again. And you'll be able to see my Coachella outfits here soon. And hopefully that will brighten your day because I know it will brighten mine. Okay, and that's all.
You have arrived to the Hefty
Thanks for
Ghouls
coming to my
podcast.
bedroom.